Ho, 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 Merry Christmas and welcome to the Antisocial Podcast. This is the last episode of 2017. That's right. I'm drawing a line in the sand, putting the brakes on. That is it for the year. This episode should be out on Christmas Day if all goes to plan. And if you were listening to this on Christmas Day, find something else to do. Haven't you got something else better to do? Either way, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great day. What better guest to have on for the last episode of 2017 than the first guest to ever appear on the Antisocial Podcast, which is Andrew Craig of Rise of Avernus. So we caught up not too long ago at the Southern Cross Hotel in St. Peters, where we just shot the shit for an hour or so. Really, really cool. We spoke about what's happened in the almost 3 years since Andrew was first on the podcast. And because we've recorded it in, I think it was March 2015. So there's a lot that's happened since then, and Andrew's got a lot of cool stories of post-podcast and a lot of his students finding out what he does as a musician, and even people listening to this podcast as well. So I'll leave it to Andrew to explain that. He also has some interesting news for 2018 as well, which I don't know how many people he's told. So I'll leave people to listen to this episode and they can hear what that's all about. If you're close to Andrew, then you'll probably already know what his plans are for next year, but we'll leave it at that. Rise of Avernus have got a brand new album coming out on the 18th of January, 2018, which is called, I'm going to butcher this one, I Didn't Growl? That'll do. And you can go and check that out over at the Rise of Avernus website, which I've only got the Facebook page up in front of me and I'm very lazy. So that's facebook.com/Rise of Avernus, RISEOVAVERNUS. Or you can just go to antisocial.net and I'll have everything over there for you. This is a really cool chat, very tongue-in-cheek, very loose, rough around the edges. We got interrupted a whole bunch of times. Actually, I'm going to interrupt myself. If you want to listen to a podcast where somebody is a master, a pro at handling interruptions, listen to the Pod Kembler podcast that's hosted by Kurt and has previously been on the Antisocial Podcast. He's been doing podcasts at the Commercial Hotel in Port Kembla for the past several episodes, and he gets interrupted all the time by the local drinkers there, and he does not bat an eyelid. If anything, they just invite him into the conversation and just have a chinwag with him. For me, on the other hand, I just edit the shit out of these podcasts, so you don't notice as much. But there are a couple of pauses along the way, which we explain in the episode itself. But this is a lot of fun, just a lot of tongue-in-cheek. Great to catch up with Andrew, one of my best mates, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Antisocial.net, as always, all the links and everything we speak about will be over there. And Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Antisocial Podcast. My name is Andy Dowling, and Merry Christmas. This is the last episode of 2017, and I thought I'd record this intro live. And with me this week is
Andrew Craig.
Oh, howdy. How are you going?
Great, thanks, man. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. That's my intro. That's it. I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
cool. Easy.
We're underway. Do you want to describe our surroundings, Mr. Craig?
Well, as you can hear, there's some lovely music playing in the background. We're at a pub in the middle of, I can't even remember what suburb.
St. Peters, that's right.
At the Southern Cross Hotel. Funny enough, one of the original stomping grounds. I used to hang with Andy back over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that's it.
Back in the day.
It's been quite a few times. Midweek we'd be here drinking when we shouldn't be, or a Sunday afternoon.
We're meant to be at work.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I think you've slept outside a couple of times as well, or at least on one occasion.
That's our old jobs that I didn't care as much about for any future employers who may be listening.
That's right. So we're having a couple of drinks, and we're going to go meet up with some others later on.
Yeah, get our Christmas drinks on.
That's right. So
'tis the season.
'Tis the season. So this is the Christmas-themed episode. Last episode of 2017, I thought, what better person to have on than the very first person that was ever on the Antisocial Podcast. So there you go.
And he liked me enough to invite me back.
I know.
Again.
I was just trying to find someone to fill in that last slot.
Everyone else is busy with, Christmas. I just said yes to a drink. Why not?
That's it. So, where do we start? What have you been up to? What's going on in the life of Andrew Craig that you're allowed to disclose?
Life in Andrew Craig. Very, very busy as always. Mixture of music, teaching, doing lots and lots more lights than I have been.
You're doing a lot of that.
Yeah,
a lot of light stuff.
Been doing lots of lights. Like next weekend, for example, doing lights at 3 shows. Sleep Makes Waves and Rosetta one night, Anathema another night, and We Lost Sea another night. So yeah, busy long weekend of doing lights for amazing bands.
You could just quit your job and just be a lighting guy.
That would be pretty awesome, but I would miss the kids.
Yeah, true. Okay.
For those that don't understand, the kids means I'm a teacher. If you haven't.
I'm not doing an interest. I can't even give context to set the scene. So
I don't have a
luckily-
multitude of spawn that I've got to look after. No, this is my job.
No, that's right. You are a professional in that realm.
Yes. I do love that job quite a lot.
So, a busy end of the year.
Yeah, very busy. So that's next weekend. Rehearsing in 2 weeks' time. The band are playing Rise of Avernus. We're opening for Paradise Lost.
That's pretty good.
Which will be awesome at the Metro Theatre in Sydney, and that will be our first show in support of the new album that comes out in mid-January.
Mid-January, yeah, I saw that.
Worldwide, yeah, on our music, 18th of January that comes out.
All right. What's the name of that?
Eigengrau, or Eigengrau.
You guys are going to stop putting titles in your albums that are hard to pronounce.
Different language every time.
Especially for a bogan like myself from Queensland.
Sorry, next time we'll just call it something like The Rock.
What's this double Dutch rubbish, this dribble?
Tinnies.
Tinnies. Yeah, call it Tinnies. Yeah, that's right. You've been doing a fair bit this year in general. You've been gallivanting around the place. Seen heads popping up in photos in all corners of the globe.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost.
It was over in Europe about a month ago.
Yep.
Sort of half holiday and also doing lights for some Aussie bands. Went to a festival called Euroblast in Cologne in Germany. Yep. And that one, mixture of lots of bands. It used to be a real gent kind of festival, but it's branched out a bit more now to lots of different genres in the metal realm. And this year there was actually 4 Australian bands.
I know, that was crazy.
5 Australian bands, including one of the headliners. There was 12 Foot Ninja, Low from Sydney, Hermina, my old band from Sydney, who have smashed it over there. Sleep Makes Waves, a band I do lights for a lot, and was incredible, one of the co-headliners, and of course one of the best Australian bands in my opinion, Voyager, who it was great. So I did lights for Voyager, Sleep Makes Waves and Hermina at that festival, and then again for the same bands except for Hermina at Prog Power the following week.
Oh, so you did Prog Power as well?
Sleep Makes Waves and Voyager, which was the opening night, and so such a different experience.
Was it weird just because a lot of those guys, you've known them for a few years, but being on the other side of the world, and I mean, just doing one show would be kind of a bit Twilight Zone-ish because you're looking around and it's kind of are we in Sydney or Melbourne or something like that? We're on the other side of the world, but to do 2 shows with a week apart, it's
and one in Germany, one in Netherlands.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very different. It's just it sort of didn't really click until after. I sort of just felt like I was back here for a bit until afterwards, and seeing photos and videos of light show and the 1,000-odd people on the floor getting into it. I'm like, holy shit, this is it's very different to home.
It's like a swarm of Australians that are just going to Europe and just dominating. It's
great, yeah. So I mean, this year alone, how many Aussie bands have been over there? It's huge.
Massive.
Great.
And not just people doing little club tours and things like that. People doing really good stuff, massive festivals and big sort of headline tours. And
definitely, yeah. I mean, over the last years, seeing so many bands from Australia pop up on festivals like your Hellfest and Grass Pops and Barkin and all those. It's great to see. It's 10 years ago, I remember going, almost 10 years ago now, 08, to Hellfest back in its early days, and remember seeing Alchemist there. And that was surreal enough, just seeing one Aussie band there, and that was one of the only ones at the time kind of thing. There were definitely other Aussie bands as well, but I think that festival and the other ones that went, that was the only Aussie band playing that year. And it was just from that to 2017 where there's 20, 30 odd Aussie bands going over regularly now. It's great.
It's insane. I don't know what's changed. I mean, there's probably a whole range of different factors, just probably maybe compared to 10 years ago, there's an overall higher volume of better caliber of music.
Definitely. The quality seems to be a lot higher as well. Just a lot more higher caliber, and it's obviously a lot easier for them to get their music across the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's true.
Spotify's and YouTube's and everything like that.
I think probably a lot of guys in Europe probably didn't give us a lot of time because we just thought that it was a massive expense, and there was probably a perception that they would have to invest heavily on us, to try and get us to Europe and whatnot. And I think now, I think probably a lot of bands have proven to Europe and North America that we're willing to put in the hard yards and actually prove ourselves and get over there.
Because it's a big difference having a band that's from, say, one country over, like Netherlands to Germany or vice versa or anything like that in Europe, than it is on the Australian band coming all the way from the other side, or even New Zealand band, because there's a couple of New Zealand bands that have been doing good over there too, like Ulcerate and a couple of those kind of bands that smash it over there.
Yeah, I remember years ago just, negotiating with a booker for shows and just getting an absolutely crazy fee to jump onto a tour, and their response or their perspective of it was, we can get you guys on and we'll charge you, or we'll get a local German band on and we won't have to worry as much, and if they fall, if that falls through, then we've got 50 million other German bands that play similar music to you guys, so whatever, like what's the incentive for us?
Exactly.
We'll jack the fee up. It's like, oh, okay, rightio.
Yep, so, there we go. And then on top of flights and everything, visas possibly, depending on the country.
That's insane. But I'm sure there's a lot of that still around, and it's still hard for bands to get over there, but
still a big investment, but
massive investment.
Definitely worth it for that genre.
There's probably a lot of bands that are a bit more business savvy now as well, so they're a bit more strategic with their money and being smart and understanding that.
Well, it's a lot easier to do the research before you do those kind of investments now. So there's so many things online, whether it be YouTube videos or tutorials or podcasts, things like that you can actually, if you're willing to put in the time, you can actually find out a lot of the ins and outs of all that kind of stuff before even going into it.
I just remember years ago, like, bands would invest like tens of thousands of dollars to jump on a tour, and then they come home and they wouldn't do anything after it, and that's it. And because they'd be in so much debt, but they would never strategically align a number of shows or to be in the public eye still, just to make the most of that momentum that they got in that exposure. And so they just go into obscurity, and
then it becomes almost a waste.
Get their day jobs to pay off their loans, and that's it. And it's almost great personal experience for them, but for the band and the business, it's just a waste of money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's there's so many that have done that. I know there's bands that played Wacken back in the early days and played festivals with massive bands, and then they got back and they didn't do anything for years because they were so in debt.
Frustrating. It's crazy. So speaking, you mentioned podcasts before. Has your life dramatically changed since being on the Antisocial Podcast episode 2?
The riches alone.
Yeah.
It's I just find it hard because I don't know if I paid the cleaner for my house in San Sebastian, or if I paid the maid from my place in San Francisco. So it gets a bit hard at times. So there's positives and negatives. But it's been great.
It's been great.
The red carpet experience.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Really. But no, on that podcast, it's interesting because since then, that was about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So
2.5, almost 3. March. It was March. Well, we recorded it March 2015. It didn't go out until about August, but
Okay, so definitely over 2 years ago. In that time, I had my own class at a school that I work at, and it's just interesting. I remember one of the parent-teacher interview nights I did, and they already knew quite a bit about me because when they Google searched me, that podcast actually came up. It was one of the first things that popped up, and they sat through the whole hour of our not exactly sober rambling.
There was some loose talking.
But none seemed bothered by it. So
that's good.
In fact, I think they really, a lot of, especially the kids, they really dig the whole having the other side where it's all band life and all that kind of stuff. They get into it a lot.
So that's an interesting thing. Sometimes past now, because I know that when we spoke on that podcast, you were talking about the kids knew that you played in the band, but you're keeping it separate. So has that changed a lot?
Yeah. Because back then I was doing a lot of casual work and things like that, and it was easy to keep quiet. But when you've got a class for a full year, they seem to find out everything about you.
Are they a lot more savvy now, kids?
Okay, so I still, anytime a kid asks me what my band name is, I always just say Mr. Craig and the Awesomes. That's my standard response to any kid that asks, because I don't want them going up and finding this
I'm creating a website for Mr. Craig and the Awesomes.
I can only imagine that will be on it when they do search that.
Wow. So they're going to try. They're used to Googling and looking
I had
up
like a
stuff.
student last year, and they managed to find out my band name because they told me how they found it, and they kept searching. Like they search Andrew Craig. You search Andrew Craig online, it comes up with
You'll
a
pop
wrestler, I think from America or something,
Oh, right,
and a
okay.
photographer. But yeah, never. It's a common name.
I'm going to put the picture of the wrestler in the show notes for this episode. Yeah.
That pops up. And then one was like so good. I actually taught them how to properly search on Google.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't even think that they might use that against me. So she kept searching Andrew Craig, rock, Andrew Craig metal, and ended up doing something like Andrew Craig death metal band, and that popped up. And then from then, once one kid knew, the whole school knew.
Got out.
But yeah, it's funny because they still, so even if they get told, they forget it so quick. So the other day, one of them asked that same student the name of the band. She told Rise of Avernus. And then they've gone up late and said, oh, Mr. Craig, I looked online, but I can't find the Rise of Avengers website. And things like that. I'm like, well, you have to
We're a bit of
look
an
harder.
obscure band.
Yeah, very underground.
Keep trying, kid.
I think Avengers, the new trailer, we'll just put our music behind that or something. That'll work.
Watch the movie.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out. We're right at the end.
Right at the end, those scenes they put at the end.
Yeah, like after all the credits have ended, you're the last one in the cinema. Just wait until that last moment.
They play like 2 seconds of a track.
Even after the movie's finished and it's dead silent and the lights have gone off,
And they're
just
cleaning
wait.
up the cinema, vacuuming.
Just wait.
That vacuum sound is our music. Yeah.
That's right. Are you still doing the same sort of grade, same year level at all? Like since
So last year I had my own class for the year, which was year 3, year 4.
Okay.
And yeah, amazing year. Like one of the best years I've ever had. Like that was such a good year. This year, because I was covering a maternity leave position, half this year I taught music for a term and taught drama for a term. So
drama.
Yeah, 2 things completely right up my alley. And music, I got to write my own program. So music was all, because it's only a term, completely percussion based.
Nice.
And lots of performances and stuff like that, which was so much fun, just getting them all into drumming and
That's
stuff.
cool.
And then drama, I just got to go wild with it, and it's so many group activities and stuff. And like, it's great to see the kids actually coming in excited to do it each week, which is so awesome. Like, love that moment, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then, but at the moment, I'm just sort of working same school, but just different classes all the time. But mainly doing years 3 to 6, so which I gel really well with. I love those kind of years because so you can have good dad jokes and everything, and you still get some laughs, some shakes of the head.
I guess you'd find that balance between like the kids are probably old enough that you can have conversations with them and they'll get a lot of stuff. And because now they're becoming more tech savvy as well, they're understanding a lot more. But they're not getting old enough where they're in their mid-teens and going through all the troubles that a teenager does and having to cop all of that BS.
It would be very hard being a high school teacher, I think. There'd be obviously so many cool things about it, and like being able to do one field you love, like just being dedicated music teacher, dedicated English teacher. But I think my calling's always been the primary level. Because after I finished high school, I worked at a summer camp in America, and that's what got me enthused to do it, because that's just like, this is amazing. Love doing this, having fun all the time.
Well, I just even think about like my school years, and primary school for me has way better memories than high school, because high school things somewhat got serious and you started getting tracked with your grades, and then there's a bit of pressure about what you're going to do when you finish school, and then you're going through all the changes that you do when you're a teenager as well, trying to work out where you fit in the world and hormonal and everything like that. But when you're in primary school, you don't really care. You
don't have to worry as much.
There's a bit of pressure, and you're outside your comfort zone because you're learning and whatnot, but you're still relatively carefree.
Yeah, I mean, the internet's unfortunately changed it quite a bit to when we were there. So, I mean, kids definitely seem a lot more mature, or they know about more things, for certain TV shows and video games and stuff like that. It's so much easier for them to get them, even if their parents don't let them do it. Like, how easy it is to stream an episode of Game of Thrones without anyone knowing, kind of thing. So that kind of stuff, like when you hear of 10-year-olds watching movies like Deadpool, or watching shows like Game of Thrones and all that, it's just makes it a bit hard, because it's still primary school level. You just gotta do what you can.
So are you a pretty scary teacher?
Oh, terrifying.
Discipline?
Yeah,
do you have to do
nothing
a lot of
but just
discipline?
anger.
Firm but fair.
I like to act like I can be stern when I need to, but the kids see through it a lot. They've always got smiles on their faces when they look at me. I'm just like, if I try and be stern, they're just like, yep, no chance. It was actually only a couple of weeks ago I had to use my stern voice for the first time in a while.
Oh, yeah?
And all the year 5s and 6s just went, dead in their tracks because they hadn't heard it before.
It's like, whoa,
They just froze.
He's actually serious this time. Yeah.
They come up to me after like, oh, Mr. Gray, we didn't know you had that in you. Well, when I need it, it's good to know because I've got it there if I ever really need to use it. But the school I work at, there's not a lot of those issues that come up at the moment because they're great kids.
Yeah, cool. Do you find that, I mean, I don't know what the other teachers are like, but do you find that there's been changes over the years since you started doing it of the way that people teach kids?
Yeah, I mean, there's always different advancements and stuff like that and different training that comes and, like, you know, most teachers are always willing to change their way or approach things in a different way to see what works because it's a continuously evolving career. And I think back to, like, how teachers were when we were kids to how they are now, and even that is a huge difference, and that's only a gap of, 20 years, probably 25 years.
Yeah, it's getting on now.
Yeah, getting on, yeah. So, I mean, definitely, but I think it's good because there's no definitive way that any one kid can be taught. Every kid's so different. You've really got to differentiate the way you teach between every student, and it's good because it's a lot of trial and error stuff like that, but it's good when you do find something that works for a kid, and you know that you're doing the right thing.
I guess everyone's got a different learning capability, like people, like anyone, adult or kid, everyone looks at things in a different way, and so some people, like, the appeal of learning alone is enough, and then other people want another motivation as to why.
Yeah, like some prefer excel from working in a group situation, while some prefer individuality. I mean, I think back to university and how much I prefer doing solo projects over group projects back then, but that's usually because of a lot of people that just put in a group together and like to bicker a lot. So I was usually the one sitting in the corner just saying, tell me when you've decided what we're doing, I'll do it. And I was just sitting there on Facebook until then. Great. Catching up on emails.
Oh, that's right. Oh, man.
Don't get me wrong, I love group work, but with the right people.
Well, that's right. No, you have to. And we're back. Just as Andrew's doing a quick selfie. Is that for Insta Stories?
I never do selfies.
I put you on Insta Stories before.
Yes, you did.
Oh, did you see it?
Oh, I just looked at it.
Oh, good. Okay, all right.
Lovely, grin, smile.
Yeah.
And the Ibises.
Yeah, that's right.
Staying at an Ibis hotel tonight.
I know.
We've got a lot of lovely gang of Ibis bin chickens hanging outside our Ibis hotel.
I was gonna book the Intercontinental, but you know, Ibis is just as good.
Bin chicken hotel.
Yeah, bin chicken hotel. That's right.
Bin chicken budget. Bin chicken budget.
Oh, that's the new name of it.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Trademarked.
Well. I think I don't need any more ciders.
How many people do you teach? How many kids?
General class is usually 30 kids.
Okay, so
the younger classes are less, but yeah, years 3 to 6, generally 30 kids in a class.
Yeah, so it hasn't changed much, like.
No, numbers wise, it's probably only the younger years. Like I remember back when I was a kid, sometimes like year 1 and 2 was still about 30. Well, now it's usually maxed out at about 24. And kindergarten usually about 20-ish. It depends on the school too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was curious because I know that when they're talking about changing the way that kids are taught and whatnot, they're trying to look at smaller classes but I guess it comes down to how many teachers are around as well. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, currently looking at moving over to Europe for a bit next year in the second half to work in the international school.
Yeah.
And apparently a lot of their classes are quite small, and every class has a teacher's aide as well.
Yeah, cool.
So like, in most classes might only be about 20 odd people at the most, and you've also got a teacher's aide in there, or teacher's assistant they call it over there. So really can have 10 kids to a teacher, which is great. It's just very different, but every country is very different like that as well.
So for a dumb question, what exactly is an international school?
So they're schools based in countries that generally aren't English-speaking countries, or English isn't the primary language.
Yep.
And they're designed for expats, so people that go around, like say for example, had to relocate their family to a different country for work, so their kids can still go to school in a school that speaks English and follows the curriculum of like a UK, American, or an Australian school generally. So that way they're still getting what they would back in their countries if they come from a country which is generally native English speaking. So a lot of the teachers, you don't have to be able to speak the language of the country either. As long as you've got English speaking, they generally only go for Canadians, Americans, New Zealanders, and Australians because of that, because obviously they've grown up speaking that. So, but for me, when I do it, I want to obviously learn the local language as much as I can anyway, because why not?
Yeah, why not? You're over there.
Exactly.
Immerse yourself. What's the process to to be able to work at an international school?
So, I mean, kind of much like this, you can go through agencies, which is what I'm sort of doing. You can apply to the schools direct as well, but apparently agencies have a lot better because they go through a bit more of a screening process with their clients as well. So once you do that, then it's sort of just the kind of thing where they send you daily updates with all the jobs they have available. And you just tell them which ones you want to go for. Some places, all you have to do is tell them and they'll do the process of getting you the interview. Some you need to provide a bit more info, but generally it's all online for them to look at anyway. It's like a glorified Facebook profile. It's got all the stuff relevant to your career and your teaching and everything, your photo, your history, all that kind of stuff, all your references and everything, and even the references. It gets sent to the person you have a reference, and you've got to have references of like your supervisors and parents.
Oh, wow.
And you don't see their responses.
Wow.
It's all very private. So for all I know, it's a horrible teacher. Do not hire in any circumstance.
Opens his mouth too many times in photos. Unsettling with children.
Get at least 20 marshmallows in there. Funny enough, I did win a game of what's that game called? Chubby Bunny, I think it is.
No, I don't know.
So
what
when I was in New Zealand many years ago, I was staying in a hostel and it was a drinking game.
Yeah.
And we were drinking, pub games while we were drinking, I should say. And one of the games was, I'm sure it's called Chubby Bunny, where you got to put as many marshmallows in your mouth, and after you do each one, you say, I'm guessing Chubby Bunny.
Yeah, okay.
And some obviously a big mouth. I was managed to fit something like 30 odd in there.
Nice.
Crazy. And done it a few times because I worked at the summer camp in America, but back then I was actually missing a tooth.
So you want to fit an extra one in?
Yeah, it was that easy to push it away from like your tongue and that, like you didn't have to open your mouth. Somehow I got even more in back then. So I need to put that on my resume.
I think so. Yeah, that might be
skill right there.
That might be the edge that you need to be able to be accepted into one of these international schools.
Yeah, definitely. You can fit 30 odd marshmallows in his mouth. That's a talent right there. This guy's got his masters and went to Harvard. This guy can fit 30 odd marshmallows in his mouth. If I was hiring, I'd go to the marshmallow guy.
Oh, absolutely.
I know I'm going to have fun with him. He's going to be awesome. This other one, well,
this guy's got something. I just can't quite put my finger on it, but he's got something.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. So I'd assume that the process to be accepted into an international school would be very different to what other people do, where they go to like a country where they're just teaching English. So like a lot of people get gigs in parts of Asia, where like in China, and they'll go and teach English for kids.
Yeah, because you've got when I was originally looking at it, you can go and do a course where you're just teaching English, but it's like anyone can do it. You don't have to have your Bachelor of Teaching kind of thing. So I did start looking into that, but obviously because it is a kind of career where anyone can go do this course, and the course is quite pricey, the pay is pretty much just enough to sort of get you by, but not if like being somewhere in Europe. Obviously, you want to make the most of your weekends. And like you got some of the best beautiful countries in the world to check out. Obviously, you want to go look at those. So every weekend, I want to try and do different trips and stuff like that. While if I was only like living on the bare minimum wage kind of thing, it'd be like weekends I just would have to sit inside.
It's just in your area and that's it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same. So at least the jobs there, and a lot of countries like Netherlands, for example, only hire people if they've got their Bachelor of Teaching. Yeah. So it's good because having that behind me makes it a lot easier as well to get something like that. I mean, not to say I wouldn't like to do teaching English as well on the side, because I'd love to do that, because I do a bit of tutoring and drum lessons and all that kind of stuff with kids now. So I wouldn't mind doing that kind of stuff when I get over there. I've just got to obviously scope it, get a feel for the place, and especially the drum lesson part, I'd love to continue that when I'm over there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that like quickest time of all time. Teaching kids drums, it goes so quick and so fun.
Well, I mean, you're doing something that you love to do anyway, so that's... there's no effort really into it. I mean,
I know you need, and then got quite a few from the school I teach at currently, because obviously they all know I'm a drummer and everything, so I get a lot of people asking, so I started doing it, and it works really well, because teach during the day, come home, have an hour off, and get in the drum lessons. It's great. A lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Bit of extra money on the side as well.
Yeah, definitely. Which is always good. Yeah, bit of pocket money.
That's right.
I always pay my tax, ATO, if you're listening.
That's right. I claim everything. I'm staring off with my mouth open, trying to think of that next question.
You need to write these things
How
down.
long? Hey, prepare? No way.
Yeah.
So, how long are you thinking about staying over there for?
It depends. If I can get the year contract, I'll go for it. Definitely. That's the aim anyway, because most of the contracts starting August are usually for a year at least. Yep. like there's a big, they do conferences around the world. And there's a big conference down in Melbourne first week of January that I'm going to head down for. And a lot of the schools come to that, and a lot of people get offered jobs from the bat, even off that. So check that out, get a bit more of a scope into it all as well. Especially it's like a 4-day conference too, so it should be pretty interesting.
Bit of a networking event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take some business cards with your face on it, hand them out.
Business card at the moment for the drum lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Is that?
You got one?
Yeah, I haven't actually. It's on the school newsletter. It's actually that figurine that got made of me.
Oh no.
Yeah, on there. So yeah, with the big mouth open aviators. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but rather than put a photo on it.
Yeah, why not?
Comedic value.
So you got most of your drum teaching business through the school.
Yes, this time around. I did drum teaching a few years back, and that was just sort of word of mouth. But because I had lots of people asking me on and off, and when you're on contract, you're not actually, you can't sort of do it. It's like a conflict of interest. Yeah. But when you're only casual and on contract, you can. Started doing that about half a year ago now. Because I was just getting asked, like every couple of weeks I'd have a parent come up and go, my kid's interested in doing drum lessons. Can you do it? And I was like, I'd love to, but I can't at the moment. And so once I was off and got asked, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can now. And principal's fine with it. So it's been great because I can do both. And I mean, as I said, it's great. Like doing 2 of my loves in one day. I get up in the morning, doesn't even feel like I'm going to work.
That's cool. Massive difference.
Yeah,
how many drum lessons would you do a week?
Currently, between that and tutoring, usually 4 or 5.
Yeah, cool.
Some weeks are more than others because some do different ones and things like that. So, because I've got to keep, I can only do a couple of days a week as well because of all the lighting gigs and that. Yeah. Generally, a lot of lighting gigs Thursdays as well. Thursday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So I can't do it any of those days, just so I'm free for that. As well as gigs, obviously, playing shows and rehearsing. I leave open for those days. So I only do this kind of stuff on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
That's such a cool thing for kids because you think about kids have got to try and find, that's why you have sports and things like that, is to try and channel all that energy somewhere else, get them all energized so they're not using that elsewhere. I think we're all getting packed up here. So we've got a bit of activity in the background. So channeling the energy for the kids is much better with drums anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's good. Like you build such a good rapport with them that way too. So between that rapport and rapport with the kids, at the school, it's it just makes it's great. Like the rapport I have with so many of the kids, I love it. It's so much fun.
Well, I'm looking at the time, so I reckon we're close to an hour with one before.
Really?
I reckon? Yeah? I'm just so keen for beers. Fuck.
We could pause, get our next drink.
What do you want to do? I'm going to edit all this stuff, by the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep
having just our plans like live.
All right, so what do you want for Christmas? Give us the Christmas episode.
Okay, Christmas list. I found these really cool sunnies online the other day. Yeah. You might have seen me post them on Instagram. Basically, along the sort of top rim of the sunnies is about 8 laser lights, female red lights, gold sunnies, and then there's these like gold studs on the bottom part of the sunnies. So I was like, that's pretty much me down to the T. The latest South Park season DVD would be cool too. Assassin's Creed, the new game, and new Shadow of War game. Yeah, and a couple mil.
A couple mil?
Just a couple of mil.
A couple of mil.
I think you said
a cup of milk.
I'm like,
milk. Oh, fair enough. All right.
Just imagine unwrapping.
Yeah.
There's spills everywhere. You know what they say? Don't cry over spilt Christmas milk.
Yeah. So, welcome back, listeners. This is part 3 of the Andrew Craig podcast.
Part 3?
Part 3, yeah. Cool. Because we had an interruption earlier as well.
Yes.
There was a cameo from Jess.
We just got interrupted then. People trying to come up to the microphones, ask what was going on, and interview one of their mates who was a forklift driver. Yeah. Apparently only forklift driver in the pub, so wanted to get interviewed.
That might be a 2018 guest. I might. I'll put that on the shelf for the time being. But so this is the third section of the podcast, which is going to be our Christmas special. So
Christmas time, almost. It's what 2nd December today.
By the time people are listening to this, I don't even know what day this will come out, but it'll be Christmas.
Maybe Christmas Day, make it a present for people.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't worry about your family. Listen to this.
Yeah. Hey, 1 hour of this instead of opening presents.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Torture your kids by making them listen to this first before they can open their presents. There you
That's
go.
right. Kids are crying.
So Andy, if you could have any advent calendar in the world, what would you have? So you know the calendars that like traditionally you lift up each day and it's chocolate. Now I've seen ones like you can get ones that got like Lego in them, ones like a different beer for every day. If you could have something that was reasonable, you know, it's not like every day open as a new car or some shit like that. What would you have?
I think mine's not going to be a very exciting answer, but I think the beer one's really cool. I'm going to copy Lagerstein guys do that every year. They do
Oh, I like how they do that.
They do their advent calendar of
take
beers.
and drinking different beer every day.
Yeah,
that's
just getting pissed for the entire month of December. It's pretty cool.
Which is no different to the rest of their year.
No, not at all. It just gives them an extra excuse to do it, really.
Yeah,
I think probably just beer, and I like the challenge of having, 24 odd different beers, 25 different beers.
Yeah, I was going to get that this year, and before I knew it, it was December.
Yeah, that's it.
So I can get it now and, have to catch up.
You have to catch up, yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, I think beer. I don't think there's anything else really that, not off the top of my head anyway. What about yourself? Advent, you mentioned Lego. Would Lego be one for you?
Yeah, I was almost going to get the little, there's a Star Wars Lego one. I thought that'd be cool opening every day, and then even if I had it in the classroom, and then let a different kid open it each day. But then I realised school finishes on like the 16th, so only a couple would actually get it. But maybe that'd be like, you were good today, you get to open the advent calendar, take home the little Lego bit.
Here's one piece of Lego, one block.
Block is just like...
Be creative with this one block.
Let your imagination run wild.
You could... hey, this is a money-making idea for anyone out there that's a budding entrepreneur. You could do an advent calendar of Lego pieces. It's not actually Lego, though. You'd be your own version of Lego. And so for 25 days or 24 or whatever it is, a different block, and it's one block, and then it makes something at the end of it.
Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
So, because I think the ones that are out now, like it is already something, or there's a couple little bits that do make something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, if like by the end of it...
And it doesn't tell you what it is, so when you open up, so if it's in the shape of, like the chocolate ones you'd have when you're a kid, and you open the little doorway up and there's a piece of chocolate in there.
Yeah, it's always terrible chocolate.
Yeah, disgusting chocolate. You could open it up and there'd be a little piece of Lego in there, and then one little tiny piece of paper that gives you that next instruction of what you need to do with that brick. So the first brick is just a picture of the brick. It's just like put it on the table. It's like, all right. And then the next one is like you attach that to that, and this one, you just put it on the table.
Place piece on table. Leave for 24 hours.
Someone's like, I can't handle this. This is too much, too complicated for me.
Can you imagine the poor kids though that just prone to losing bits? So like they lost day 12, they're just screwed.
Oh yeah, that's great. Like every day there'd be a new little instruction, so it'd be attaching it in a certain way, and you just don't know until getting closer to the end of that advent calendar that you discover what you're actually building.
That's actually a really good idea.
It's like a lucky dip.
Patent pending for anyone listening out there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Andy's next career move.
That's it. Put my face on.
He hasn't got enough things he's got going on.
yeah, a few things.
Yeah.
So, that might be an idea for anyone out there that's wanting to make some quick cash.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Next to Christmas, everyone that's listening to this is trying the same idea. There's like 50 on the market.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yep. Yeah, original idea right there. Well, I'm going to interview you a bit, because how often do you get interviewed on these things?
How often do I get interviewed?
Yeah.
I never get interviewed. Okay, I don't think so, anyway.
Let's turn the tables. Christmas special.
All right, Christmas special. Wow. All right.
The ultimate ideal Christmas holiday. If you money wasn't an issue, where would you go? Ultimate Christmas holiday, and why?
I honestly would probably... I reckon just be somewhere where there's no one, no people, and it doesn't matter whether it's cold or warm or whatever. Just no one.
Solitude.
Yeah. Like I would even, and this is gonna be a retarded thing to say, but I just stay at home.
Even
no one can bother me first.
The idea sounds amazing. I'm looking outside right now at Princess Highway, where there's non-stop traffic going both ways, and I think, that actually sounds amazing.
Yeah. I think given that. Actually, I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, continue. What's the next question?
So it's harder to answer these questions than you think. And this is what you do to all these people.
Oh, yeah. I take it for granted. Everyone should just have the answer.
Just ready to go off the top of the bat. Okay, what's the number one gift for Andrew Dowling for 2017? What's your best thing that you want?
The best gift for me, actually, I'll give two, because one is actually legit the gift that I want, and one I'll just please everybody by giving it.
Should we let them guess which was
No,
which?
that's okay. Honestly, I don't want anything, and I hate Christmas in this sense. I don't want anything because then I feel like I have to give something to that person.
Okay.
And this might be a very selfish way and the very selfish way of looking at it, but I'd rather do like a party thing and a gathering and just hang out than exchange gifts, because then I feel like there's all these politics around gift giving, like you give something to somebody and then somebody gives you something back, and it shouldn't be about that. Or then you talk about the value and whatnot, and I spent this amount of money,
the whole value
and blah, blah.
thing comes into it.
Like I'm doing this with Jess at the moment, and Jess like, what do you want? I said nothing, and she's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm like, but hang on, we're married, and don't you want to just make me happy? So if you want to make me happy, the happiest I could possibly be would be to not buy me anything. She says, well, that's not going to happen. I said, well, you're not going to make me happy then. So it just defeats purpose. I said, you're giving me a gift because of selfish intentions.
And if not that, a helicopter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So look, if people aren't happy with that answer, then I'll just say I wouldn't mind one of those.
I do like that gathering idea, though.
Gathering. Just like
it is a good month to catch up with people.
The present of being present. Do you like that one?
That's good.
Yeah, there you go. That's going to be my tagline for the Christmas season.
Anathema shirt.
the present
We're
of being
present
present.
because we're present.
I love that.
There we go. We'll pitch that one to the next weekend when they're touring.
Yeah, and if anyone wants me to actually like say a tangible item, then I'd probably like one of those Bluetooth speaker system things. You know, they're like the standalone things that you just hook up through Bluetooth.
Yeah,
they're pretty good these days. Like they've got a good sound.
Well, I got a little one. Just one of the JBL flips last Christmas, and it's still to this day one of the most used gifts that I've ever got, because I just have it in my bathroom, and the sound's great. So like, you can be showering and still hear great. But like, it's so easy to carry, and it's just USB charging as well. So it's just so good. Hooks up to my phone, take it anywhere around the house, and the sound's amazing for something that's only about 20 centimeters wide. And like the diameter of the speaker's only, or the subs on it's probably like 5-6 centimeters.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like these tiny little things can just emit, like the quality of sound's so good.
It's just, it's
crazy.
The future is here.
The future is here.
Until tomorrow, then the future will be here then. And then
the future is always here.
Yeah. So when you're listening to this podcast, the future is now here. That wasn't here back when here was now.
The future that's right now will no longer be the future, will be the past, and your future will be our future. Double future.
If you had a DeLorean, where would you go? If your DeLorean would take you to one place, time travel DeLorean.
I like this one. And I don't think anyone's actually done a movie on this. I reckon it'd be a fucking great movie. So I would go back in time, and I would be like before Jimi Hendrix. Maybe, no, I'd let the Beatles have their thing. That's fine, they can do their thing. But I reckon after the Beatles, I'd get in there and I'd just write every amazing riff that's ever been put out by Sabbath, Zeppelin, Metallica, everyone, and I just put out their songs. Sorry, guys. If I go back in time, you're all fucked. Like none of those guys will exist. I'll say the Beatles
will still exist. They just wouldn't be a band.
They'll just be shit.
Because people would probably
they'll have to think of other songs.
Going and finding their mothers, and changing the course of history.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a different movie altogether.
No, that kind of.
Oh, it could all tie
Back to the Future as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It could tie into it. Yes. Yeah. Actually, it's
fading away.
Very true. I think that'd be cool. I'll leave the Beatles. I won't touch them.
Yep.
Because at least then it won't look as well. It won't be suspicious because.
And they already, like you won't be.
I'll just say I'm influenced by the Beatles.
And tried to do that stuff, it would just get ignored.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I think let the Beatles like carve the way out and have all the controversy and get past all the sort of clean cut sort of look and the very safe sort of music and whatnot.
So you just don't want to have to get a haircut, essentially.
Yeah, that's right. And then after the Beatles are out and they've made their noise, then I'll come into the picture. I'll say I'm influenced by the Beatles, and then I'll start releasing Metallica songs. first track, first album will be like Damage Inc. or something like that.
But, like go straight for like, Frantic or Saint Anger.
No, I'll be very selective of my Metallica tracks that I release.
Sounds were better in the 70s than that album anyway.
And I'll give it a title like I don't even know what I'd call.
Yeah, what would you call that band?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I could just do
Iron Dowling.
I am Dowling. I am Dowling?
Iron.
Oh, Iron Dowling. Oh, yeah.
Well, I am Dowling would work.
Fuck it, I just call myself Metallica, hey. Just
beat them to it.
Just to steal their entire identity.
Same colours and everything, but like your versions of them, you draw it.
Or just like something, maybe a mixture between like Black Sabbath and Metallica or something like that.
Something nice, big and riffy.
Yeah, I mean, Black Sabbath have got all the classic riffs, and so
Mega
Metallica.
Dowling. So I'm just going through all the names here you could be called.
Just mix all those names together into one big mush. I'll just call it Andy Dowling and the
Tenacious Dowling.
I'll call it Double A. You're going to come back in time with me?
Oh, yeah, good old Double A, yeah.
Yeah, and actually we won't call the songs, we will change the song titles. So if you remember, going back a little while now,
had to have
we came up with...
A's. Had to be alliterations.
That's right, and countries maybe, or locations or something like that, or we had a theme of each album.
Well, almost every continent begun with A, so we can do all those.
Yeah, so we could just do that, but the songs would actually be Metallica and whatever. So it could be like Trapped Under Ice and it'll be Antarctica. The song would be called Antarctica. But it would literally be the Trapped Under Ice song. But you just
renamed.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, whatever. Like, Damage Inc. can be Australia.
So what would North America be?
You'd have to put North in brackets, by the way. And then the song title is actually America, because it starts with A, and then put North in brackets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Still an A one.
And then the song would be, I don't know.
One that represents.
What represents? Oh, no, you have to be careful here. I wasn't actually thinking of a song that would represent North America.
Oh, yeah.
It could get...
Fuel, maybe.
Fuel? Yeah, okay.
It's not the best place.
Give me fuel, give me fire. Okay, that's enough.
Just start writing it now.
Let's stop here, right? Okay. Have you got any other questions for the Andy Social, Andrew Craig Christmas podcast 2017?
Andrew Craig Social.
The Andrew Craig special.
Yeah, now that I'm the interviewer and interviewing
That's
you.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You're wrapping this up.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the time travel. I'd go back and ride a Velociraptor. That would be my ultimate goal.
Oh, gee,
Velociraptor racing.
That's going back a while, though.
Yeah.
But would anyone care?
But that would tie in with your holiday idea of being in a nice, secluded, quiet place.
I think what you need... Yeah, true. I think what you probably have to do is go right back, get the Velociraptor, and I don't know what sort of device... If it's a DeLorean, then you have to try and stuff the Velociraptor into the back of the DeLorean, then come back to maybe 1970-something, mid-70s? Actually, before Sabbath.
So the band that you'd be doing would have a Velociraptor on stage.
Absolutely.
That would turn heads.
Because if you just went back and just rode a Velociraptor, no one would give a shit because there's no one around.
Yeah, it's not exactly cameras or Wi-Fi or...
I mean, look, if you're
all about... back then.
Air conditioner, that's right.
Air conditioner, but yeah, anyway.
There's another song title for Double A. Air conditioner. It's actually one.
Ties with Antarctica.
So,
any more questions?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
see, it's hard if you don't have these prepared, Andrew.
I know. Oh, sorry.
What are you doing for Christmas this year?
I've got my parents coming down from Queensland, so we're going to try and make everybody happy. And did you ask me that question only so you could have a swig of cider? You're very smart. Very strategic. You are an expert in it. When are you going to do your own podcast? Actually, let me finish this question first. My parents are coming down. My parents are coming down, and we're going to try and balance between Jess's family, my family, and we'll all try and have a happy Christmas and do our things and whatever. But when are you going to do your own podcast? Are you going to do an international school podcast?
Ooh, when I'm overseas, I should start one.
I reckon you should. The trials and errors of AC in blah 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 country.
AC unit.
Law and Order. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe.
No, when I was falling asleep last night, that came on the TV, so
okay.
It's been in my head all day.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's getting pretty loud in here.
It is. I think
I might wrap up because we're off to go have some beverages.
we're going to go to Young Henry's and have a couple of drinks there. Steve Lamb, shout out to Steve Lamb, Lammy boy. He's over there trying to find a table for us. We were meant to be there probably 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so we're getting an Uber because it is raining heavily. Have a look.
It's pretty. Oh shit! All
I
right.
just held up the microphone as if it was a camera.
Yeah. So I think we've done pretty well considering our environment and a little bit of trouble. TY's going to hate me because he's got a lot of editing to do, and I did a podcast earlier today with planes flying overhead. So TY's really going to hate me tomorrow when I give him all his files.
Last question then.
Okay.
Your best Christmas experience of your life?
My best Christmas.
Trying in with the theme.
Yep. Okay. Best Christmas experience. Actually, I had Christmas in Las Vegas when I was a kid. That was pretty cool. Which you
Do a lot of gambling?
Sorry?
Do a lot of gambling?
No, I was about 10.
So just a little bit of gambling.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. But you'd think, like, for a kid that's not of legal age to drink and gamble, it'd be a pretty dull place, but it's pretty cool for kids. I just remember
cool, yeah.
we stayed at the Luxor, the pyramid one. And,
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. We went to the Grand Canyon, like, the day after or the day before or something as well. So anyway, that would probably be my favourite one.
Vegas, so it wouldn't have been snowy there, would it?
We did see snow at the Grand Canyon, but
Okay.
Vegas wasn't.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
So it
there.
wasn't a white Christmas. Christmas.
Yeah, no. It was a white Christmas season, and you, because I'm polite and courteous, thinking of my guest
Ooh,
or host.
Christmas. I don't know. Usually have a pretty similar tradition every year for Christmas with a big dinner on the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, usually by the pool, snacks all day, quite a few beers. I do, in the last maybe 7 years, it has become a tradition where I make eggnog Christmas Eve.
Oh, okay.
And my eggnog recipe, I've perfected it over the years, and it's something I look forward to every year.
Don't tell me what it is. That's going to go in the show notes.
Ooh.
Go to andysocial.net,
And I'll
read the
give you
show
the
notes,
recipe.
and then you'll see Andrew Craig's special eggnog recipe.
There are 3 different types of spirits too, so...
Oh, okay, all right.
It's pricey,
Yeah, like
but
I want to leave people hanging. And by the way, before we wrap this up, and I'm going to wrap it up now, I know what your best Christmas memory is. Not Christmas Day, but best Christmas memory.
I was going to bring this up, I totally forgot. Is this in the same area?
Yes, absolutely. Do you just want to tell?
So, as we mentioned, this is our old stomping ground around
Yep.
St. Peter's because Andy used to live here back 10 years ago now.
Yeah, something like that.
About that. And
do.
yeah, I used to spend pretty much
Most weekends?
most weekends and some weekdays down here. And one Christmas, we decided it was a Sunday, and I think it was a week before Christmas, so most of us didn't have to work, and the ones that did called in sick. School was already done for the year, if I was even a teacher back then. No,
it might have been pre. Yeah,
whatever I was doing back then. And we donned Santa suits
Yep.
and made our way into Newtown on a nice big pub crawl.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stories that came out of that night.
That's a big night. Certain people were dressed as Santa, and we found a bike and we shoved it into a op shop bin, just because. I can see Andrew cringing right now, but we'll just look. Let me say this for everybody listening that might be professionally connected with Andrew Craig or in some way. We actually thought at the time it was a bin, like an actual bin, and the bike was a little bit worse for wear. So we're just trying to. We thought it was a recycling bin. I think that's a good. Yeah. Perfect.
Brackets.
Yeah, recycling bin.
Thank you for answering my questions, Andrew Darling. It's been great to interview. You've been listening to the Andrew Craig Social Podcast. Also, 18th of January 2018, new Rise of Avernus album, Grau. You should get it. It's pretty cool.
Grau.
Grau.
Thank you very much, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And to everyone listening to my Andrew Craig Social Podcast, you have yourselves a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a brilliant New Year.
Thanks, folks. That's it. Scram. Get lost. Shop shut. If you want to reach out to Andrew or check out the new Rise of Avernus album that's out on the 18th of January, you can go to andysocial.net. Click on the links. You guys know the drill. Same as every episode. It's all dumped in there. Nice and easy for your convenience. But that's it. We're done. 2017 is in the bag. It's finished. It's over. This is the last episode. This is the end of the Andy Social Podcast for this year. To sort of clarify that. The Andy Social Podcast will be back in the first week of February 2018. which means there'll be no new episodes in January whatsoever. What I will be doing in that period of time is recording new episodes for the Antisocial podcast, but I'll also be putting a little bit of TLC and a little bit extra focus into the Self-Starter podcast, which is still brand new. And I thought this is probably a great time of the year to just do as much as I can on that podcast and really position it well for a big 2018 for both podcasts, really. So that's what I'll be doing. Don't stress though. Don't have a tanty. Don't whinge because there's no new episodes. Go over to antisocial.net, go and buy the USB flash drive that's got the cool Antisocial artwork on it that contains the first 100 episodes of this podcast, and go back and listen to all the ones that you've missed. No doubt there'll be a couple that you've missed. So I'm sure you could just work that out and you'll be well and truly occupied for the month of January until the new episodes come out in February. Nice and easy. But 2017 has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to everybody who's been listening to the podcast right from day dot, but especially for this year. For people that have been listening for quite some time, you'll know that I had two major goals for this year. One was to get around the country to every capital city and do a weekend of podcasting in each city. And the other one was to do a podcast every week for 2017. Now, the first goal, I didn't quite get there. I missed Darwin and Hobart. I had to cancel both of those. I actually had them scheduled in, but had to cancel them, mainly due to Self-Starter and a couple of other things. But it just got to a point where I had to prioritize a couple of things. And I'm glad I did. It actually worked out well. And I'm no doubt we'll get to both Hobart and Darwin sometime in 2018 anyway and play a bit of catch up. But you know what? Regardless, I'm pretty happy with what I've done. I've been able to get to Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne a few times, Brisbane, Canberra, Sydney's up the road. And I've had chats with some of the most amazing people I've ever had conversations with in my life. So I'm really, really thankful for the opportunities that I've had. I'm thankful for everybody who's been on this podcast. Thank you so much. If any of you guys are actually listening to this podcast and still listening to me crap on, thank you very much. And no doubt we'll cross paths again in the future, in the months and years to come. And then the second goal was to put an episode out every week for 2017. Now, I missed a week at the beginning of the year, but then I caught up in June, and then I've actually done an extra episode in December. So really, I beat my goal. I got one better. So there you go. So I actually achieved that goal. So I'm very happy with that. Consistency is key. One thing that I have learnt over the past 12 months, and I'll continue to do that from February onwards next year. It will continue to be a weekly podcast. And, who knows? We might get to bi-weekly. No, probably not. I might be overcommitting myself and burning myself out. But this year's been absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with what I've been able to get out there for you guys. I've been really happy with the feedback that you've all given me and the great comments and encouragements, the suggestions, some really amazing recommendations from people. A lot of people I would never even have thought of or known about to approach and have on the podcast, but it's been because of you guys giving me ideas, recommending me, introducing me to people, and as a result, I've had some amazing conversations, so thank you so much. Before we wrap it up, you guys know the drill, the usual housekeeping things. As mentioned, Self-Starter is my second and brand new podcast. If you're into small business, self-employment and freelancing, go to selfstarter.com.au, or you can search for Self-Starter on your preferred podcast player. It's all over there. Really happy with the way that's going, and thank you for all the support you guys are giving that so far. I really need a massive boost to get it kick-started, and you guys have been doing that, so thank you very much. If you want to shout me a beer, you want to buy some merch, as mentioned, the USB flash drive or a t-shirt, or you shop on Amazon, you want to use my affiliate link, go over to andysocial.net and you'll find all the opportunities to support this podcast over there. Nice and easy. And last but not least, before we wrap it up, the brand new Lord live album recorded at Prog Power USA is out now. You can listen and watch it online by going to lord.net.au. You can purchase it right away, and you can also pre-order the physical CD audio only version of the release that will be out in February, but you can pre-order it right now, and the pre-orders are open until mid-January, and that will contain 3 additional unreleased Lord songs on there as well, which we have not disclosed as of yet. So stay tuned. If you're on the fence about getting that and you're thinking, I might wait a bit, basically, my recommendation to you is that if you're considering it, I would jump in and grab yourself a copy. It's very cheap. So I would go and get yourself a copy, secure one, because after pre-orders are over, depending on how many pre-orders we get, there may not be too many left over. And this is a limited edition release. It will not be repressed. It will only be available for a limited period of time as well as quantity. So make a decision. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, that's it. Enough rambling, enough crapping on from me. That's it. 27 is in the bag. Hope you guys have had a great year. Enjoy your holidays and Christmases and whatever you celebrate around this time of year. Spend it with your friends and family. Get pissed. Don't get pissed. Sit around, read a book, rage, do whatever you want. And we'll be back in 2018. Keep messaging me. Keep contacting me. Keep letting me know what suggestions and ideas you have and any feedback that you have. And keep listening to the old episodes. Let's keep it moving. And I can't wait to bring you some fantastic new episodes in 2018. Until then, ta-ta.